This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
Welcome to the Retirement Key, where we help you gain insight and learn strategies for a more successful retirement. My name is Casey, and I'm always excited when I am joined by my buddy, Justin Doback, financial advisor with Abish Financial Services. Justin, how are we doing? You've added husband to your resume.
I got a little jewelry. Got a little jewelry now. I can finally cling it on the table and get people to listen up to me now. Yeah, which is nice.
Like a serious man.
Yeah, people can take my financial advice seriously now.
I love it. So everything went well. It was beautiful.
Fabulous. 71 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Maybe a little late.
Carolina.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, so it was fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Well, love to hear it. I'm so happy for you, and I'm excited to pick your brain on our topic today because it's something that affects every single retiree, and that's required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs. These can have a really big impact on your retirement income and taxes. So understanding how they work is really critical. So, Justin, let's just start with the basics here. What exactly are required minimum distributions, and why do they exist?
Yeah, simply. So a lot of us have 401ks, IRAs, dollars that we have never, ever paid the taxes on. Uncle Sam hates that. And Uncle Sam says, eventually, you're going to have to pay your taxes. And he does that through required minimum distributions. So at an age of now 73 or 75, we'll talk about that in a moment here, he basically says you must take a distribution from your tax-deferred accounts, and you must pay the ordinary income tax upon that distribution. What you do with those dollars, that's entirely up to you. And we're going to go in great detail about those options here. But basically, this is a way for Uncle Sam to finally get his taxes. That is the focus.
Got it. All right. So RMDs are about ensuring that the IRS gets its share of taxes on these tax-deferred accounts that you've been putting money into all your working years. And unfortunately, it's something that a lot of retirees don't think about until the time comes when they are required to start taking these withdrawals. So speaking of the timing, let's talk about when this kicks in. At what age do retirees need to start taking RMDs, and how has that changed recently?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because this confuses a lot of retirees. Prior to 2022, the RMD age was 72. Prior to that, it was 70 and a half. Now, fast forward, the 2.0 Secure Act that came out in 2022 changed the rules to the RMD age being 73 for anyone born before 1960 and 75 if you are born after 1960. Okay? So this is the time when Uncle Sam is going to start knocking on the door. Now, here's a small little innuendo that I like, because people say, well, what about my birthday? What if my birthday is before April 15th? What if my birthday is after April 15th? And it's an easy response. Okay. If you were born after April 15th, the year you turn your RMD age, either 73 or 75, you have the option to delay that RMD till the following year, but now you must pay 2 RMDs in that following year. Generally speaking, not the advisable strategy to go, but you do have the option to do so. If you're born before April 15th, the year you turn 73 or 75, it's time to pay up.
Okay. All right. Well, these changes can really affect planning. So it's important to know your rule, your day, your year, your time. So once you hit this age, Justin, how are we figuring out the amount that we are supposed to take? What factors are contributing to determining that number for people?
It is end of year account values. So 1231. Okay. Whatever that account value is, the IRS uses that amount and divides it by an actuarial table. Basically, they look at your life expectancy. They look at the broad country, right? Average life expectancy, I think now is 85 and some change for males or females. Anyways, that's besides today's topic.
That sounds high for a man.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it actually does, actually. I think that's women. Anyways, so Uncle Sam says as you get older, your life expectancy shortens gradually each and every single year. And because your life expectancy shortens, he wants you, greedy dude. He goes, I want you to pay more and more and more. So at 73 or 75, whatever your year is, you roughly have to take a distribution of 4.2% off the account value end of year. Each and every single year as you get older, that roughly 4.2% grows more and more and more and more. Okay. So this is something that I emphasize. Everyone have a conversation about your RMDs because they do dramatically affect your future tax rates, what brackets you're in, as well as IRMA filings, Medicare. But we'll chat about that in 2 seconds as well.
So based upon what you just told us that the amount that we have to take is based on, that means that the amount can change every year, right? And
that's exactly right.
If somebody doesn't take the right amount, what happens? What happens if somebody misses their RMD or takes too little? What's the punishment? There's got to be one. Take
a breather, but also don't make this mistake. All right. The penalty for missing an RMD used to be 50% of whatever was owed. So let's use some rough math here. Okay. If we've got $1 million IRA and Uncle Sam says you must take a distribution at 4.2%, $42,000. If you miss that, guess what? You're paying $21,000 in penalties. Now, that has dropped down to an astounding 25%. Okay? So smaller, but still sizable, especially when it is as easy as just taking a distribution out of that IRA, out of that 401k, and paying the ordinary income tax on that. So make sure that you lay out a plan. If you are like most normal folk in retirement and you have to take distributions from your IRA or 401k just to simply satisfy your lifestyle, right? A lot of times you don't even have to consider your RMD requirement because you're already satisfying that without any forceful distributions. I'm going to use that word forceful. Okay. But if you're an individual who has got a lot of pensions, Social Security benefits, and everything pays for your lifestyle, guess what? Get a plan in place for that RMD because it has to come out, or else there are penalties, there are consequences that are easily avoidable.
And they sound steep, so it's definitely something that you do not want to overlook. All right, Justin, beyond penalties, there's always the tax side of things, which you touched on a little bit. So how do RMDs affect your taxes, and what strategies can people be incorporating to help minimize that burden that comes with these things?
Yeah, so I'm going to put 2 examples into focus here, okay? Example number 1 is my classic, right? We're in the DC area, so we've got a lot of government folk, a lot of pensions, a lot of like law enforcement pensions, FERS pensions, etc. Okay? These are the folks that have been basically lied to their entire life, lied under the assumption that once you retire, you're going to be a very low income earner. And that's the opportunity for you to now pay the taxes on all your tax deferred accounts. Guess what? Now you turn on those big pensions, those big benefits, and now you're realizing that you're probably making just as much as you were while you're working. But hey, now I've got this $40,000 RMD that I got to talk about as well. Now that throws me into immensely higher brackets, okay? If this is you, I call that the ticking tax RMD time bomb. I'm working on condensing that a little bit, but right now it is what it is. If you are concerned that you are going to be thrown into huge brackets for your RMDs, you're probably right. And you probably should have a conversation sooner rather than later to put a tax planning strategy in place, most notably Roth conversions. All right. And that's an opportunity for you to say, hey, Uncle Sam, I will voluntarily pay the taxes on my dollars today, getting them from my traditional IRA into a Roth IRA and paying the taxes at whatever effective tax rate we are now. If that now is a significantly lower tax rate, guess what? You're going to be paying a discount on your dollars instead of waiting until that 73, 75 and just saying, hey, wherever tax rates are at that time, I'll pay them. Because guess what? Right now, we are in a historically low tax rate environment. Take advantage of that.
Right.
If it makes sense. Not always do Roth conversions make sense, but please turn that stone over. Double check, make sure that that is something that's applicable to you, something that can be implemented. And if so, you will be saving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on taxes in your lifetime.
All great points, and that really emphasizes how planning ahead can make all the difference for you. So it's important to incorporate the help of a professional when you're making these plans. Now, I know there have got to be some exceptions, Justin. So let's touch on those. What exceptions or special rules for certain accounts or situations should people be aware of here?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the big questions that I always get in my meetings is, okay, Justin, well, if I have my RMD requirement, and we're talking about Roth conversions as well, can I just put my RMD into a Roth IRA? And the answer is no, you can't. Uncle Sam says that would be too sweet of a deal. Here's the catch, though. You can continue to perform Roth conversions once you're in your RMD years, 73 or 75, but the RMD must be satisfied first. All right, so if John and Jane Doe, $1 million IRA, they want to do a conversion, they must first satisfy that $42,000 RMD. Once the taxes have been paid on that, then you can perform Roth conversions beyond then. But typically, Roth conversions don't make a lot of sense beyond the RMD ages. Usually, they can still apply if someone's very legacy focused and they want to get dollars in as much into the Roth bucket as possible so that when they pass their wealth down to their kids, family, loved ones, it's going to them tax-free. Right now, if you pass down an inherited traditional IRA, you're giving them the 10-year rule. And a lot of times that poses a big tax problem to them as well. So just some things to consider, as well as qualified charitable donations, which I just want to touch on really quick. Another option for your RMDs is you can say, hey, Uncle Sam, I'm really charitably inclined. And instead of taking dollars out of my back pocket to put it in the basket at church on Sunday each and every single week, I'm going to donate my RMD from my IRA to a 501c3b organization. Think of foundations. Think of the big guys, Leukemia Foundation, Red Cross, right, St. Jude's, those big names like that. What you can do is you can direct up to $108,000 each and every single year from your RMD directly to a foundation, and Uncle Sam will say, hey, that checks out. You can deduct that off of your taxable income for that given year. So a lot of those charitably inclined folks, this is another tax planning strategy to help you keep those taxes within reasonable limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A lot of things to keep in mind here. Real quick before we go, we like to be proactive around here, Justin. So what steps should retirees be taking now to prepare for future RMDs? How can we plan ahead?
Absolutely. Start looking at future value calculators. Start looking at your income streams in retirement, right? Social Security, pensions, 401k, IRA distributions. Start looking into the future. If not yourself, have us do that. Have us figure that out. Have us figure out if we need to implement a Roth conversion strategy for you to make sure that we're paying Uncle Sam as legally little as possible in the long haul of life, okay? These are crucial steps to make sure that there are no major tax bombs in the future of retirement.
Yes. All right. Well, if people have questions about their RMDs or maybe just their retirement plan in general, how can they get in touch with you, Justin? What should they do?
Yeah, log on to the retirementkey.com. That'll direct you to our page. You can have a conversation, set aside some time for a complimentary meeting, have that written plan established for you guys, and such. You got a clear roadmap moving forward.
Yes, again, that's theretirementkey.com for all the resources that you need to get connected with Justin and the entire team there at Abish Financial Services. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you learned something. Remember to subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts so that you never miss an episode with us, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much, Justin.
Thank you, Casey. Great chatting with you.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit theretirementkey.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Abish Financial Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training, and the content of this communication has not been approved or verified by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or by any state securities authority. The information contained in this material is intended to provide general information about Abish Financial Wealth Management and its services. It is not intended to offer investment advice. Investment advice will only be given after a client engages our services by executing the appropriate investment services agreement. Information regarding investment products and services are provided solely to read about our investment philosophy and our strategies.